Michael, thanks for joining us. 1-0 win over Shrewsbury today. That extends your competitive record this season to 4 wins in 4. I suspect you're a delighted man as a result of that.
Yeah, really pleased. Different emotion to last week. I think they're the hardest games to win. Real expectancy to go on, you'll beat them 4 or 5. They came in, they sat in, they made it really difficult to play against. We had loads of the ball, which is another new thing that we got to learn to sort of accept. But I thought the intensity was good. Yes, there was sloppy moments. We probably should have put the game to bed a lot earlier than what we did, so it gets a little bit cagey. But I thought we were pretty much in control for most of it.
Brought Callum Marshall in from the start today. Just give us an insight into your thinking about that.
I think he's earned his start. I think when he came in, he had a good start against Morecambe after a couple of days training. He affected the game last week when he came on, and he's had another week's training now. So he's starting to understand what we want. We do ask a lot from the centre forwards, in and out possession. Thought he took his goal really well. Landed on another big chance. So that was the thinking. Luckily, it's always nice when you make a change and they come on and score. But I thought the two that came off the bench, I thought they affected the game really positively as well. And Reece is obviously a big chance, but if we could put that, the game's dead. But no, really pleased with lots of aspects of today.
At times you could sense a touch of frustration, probably from yourself on the touchline, a little bit from the fans at points. You've just touched on this earlier. Not easy, these games. I think Shrewsbury probably defended as narrow as a team I've seen here for a long, long time. Sat relatively deep, but we still created the chances, which must please you. Callum Marshall's header in the first half before he scores. Reece Healy's one. Callum Marshall has another in the second half. So it could have been a slightly different feel around the place, couldn't it, quite easily today?
Part of the changing the mindset of everyone at the football club. We've had 75-80% of the ball, which last year we didn't. And it's hard to play against. That's why Huddersfield drew so many games last year, because they sat in, they made it really difficult, and it's hard to play against. So clean sheet, lots of good football. We won. Can we be better at certain things? Absolutely, but the intensity didn't drop. We just made a few sloppy mistakes at times. But if we're going to ask the players to play up from the back, we have to accept mistakes. I know I get quite animated and things, and I've got a moany voice, but I thought I was delighted with lots of aspects today.
You asked the fans, I remember after Peterborough when we spoke at the 2-0 win, and you said fans are there to support them, that's the job. I thought around the hour mark today, and you just mentioned this to Radio Leeds on your first interview, that they sensed that the lads might need a little pick-me-up, and you could feel the atmosphere lift in the stadium. Moments like that are going to be so, so important this season, aren't they?
Absolutely. I think it's easy for me to say the supporters need support. We need to give the supporters something to cheer about. But there was a moment where they probably sensed that they needed a little bit of a lift, and we sort of wrestled the momentum of the game back with that 10 minute of just constant chanting. Then we made the subs, which impacted the game as well. So yeah, it is tough. I get it. There's only one team that's really come out and had a go at us, which was Peterborough, and I thought we dominated the game. But it's hard to, if we just start shelling it into their 2 centre halves who are giants, people won't be happy with that. So we have to try and find a way. Part of the learning is, right, when teams come after us, we can play around and through. When they sit in like that, we need to find different types of combination, which is, I suppose, when you get back to work on Monday and you start working.
We were well on top today, but a word for Lee Nichols. I think he's had a really good start to the season, and when we needed him today, he came up big for you. Yeah,
but one moment in the game. One moment in the game where we switched off, a bit of sloppy play from us. But that's what we want. It's going to be different to last year. We think, I don't think he's going to have to. I don't think he's going to. Well, he's not going to be as busy, hopefully. But really good goalkeepers make big saves and big moments. So he didn't have a lot to do during the whole game. But the time when we did need him, he stepped up and he helped us, which is what we want.
We stood here after Stevenage last weekend, and one of the things you said, you were a bit disappointed you didn't feel the subs made an impact when they came on last week. And I thought it was the exact opposite today. They came on after that moment where the fans lifted us, and both strikers immediately involved. You mentioned Matty Pearson outside when we needed him. They did make a real impact for you today. Yeah, and that's what we need them to do. I said when I spoke to the players in the week after there's still new relationships getting built. So I asked them, I'm new to them and they're new to me. So when we had that funny 20-25 minutes, half an hour last week, was it a fear that old habits crept in and we sort of lacked in intensity, or was it a complacency? I don't know yet, because I don't know them well enough. But if they score a goal in the last second today, it wasn't because we dropped off. It wasn't because of a lack of intensity or a complacency. It's that we just didn't take the chances to kill them off. Because if it ends up 2 or 3, which it could quite easily done, a lot of the questions don't get asked because people forget about the performance was good. Obviously, too early to tell about Brodie Spencer after he came off this afternoon. But a quick word on Herbie Kane. He was missing from the squad today. A little injury in midweek, I understand.
Yeah, Herbie felt his groin in the week. So he looks at probably 3 to 4 weeks, I think. So it's not a great one. I think there's a little bit of tendon involved. So disappointing because he's a good player. He's, came in a little bit behind the other lads in terms of fitness, and he's sort of trying to play catch up, which is difficult. Because he's a good player, I think people have seen that. But it's other people, opportunities for Tom Upenda. He only got 90 seconds today, but he affected the game in 90 seconds. Big header, big tackle. So that's why we won't let him out, because we think he's a good player.
Absolutely. Michael, 4 wins from 4. Well done today.
Cheers, mate.